Last time, we began our one-chunk journey on Ralos Rise. Immediately had to roll some chunks to meet our combat requirements. Did an ungodly amount of world hopping. Got 30 prayer and then blessed some bones on Ralos Rise. Added the longbow into our collection. Reached 55 magic. And then we of course used that to be able to cast high level alchemy. And then not long after that, we reached 43 prayer, unlocked all the protection prayers, committed a great sin against the moss giants, and then finally received the curve bone to finish out our collection log and be able to roll our final chunk of the episode. And finally, we ended up rolling the backyard of the Hunters Guild. So here we are in our new chunk, ready to continue the grind. Immediately on entering this chunk, I encountered one little problem, and it's this guy, the Imp. And he's problematic because of this drop table. Imps drop raw chicken, bread dough, and a pot of flour. This means that under the rules of an extreme one-chunk Ironman, I am obligated to cook the bread dough and the raw chicken until 58 cooking, since that is the level required to make pita bread, which is the highest tier of dough that can be made through a pot of flour. Very quickly though, I came to a realization. Imps teleport. And after 2 hours of looking for these guys, I was able to kill a whopping 4 of them. In order to get to 58 cooking, I would have to cook 7,500 chickens. Since the drop rate from the imps is 1 out of 25, that would mean about 187,500 imps would need to be killed. And at a rate of 2 imps per hour, that would make this a roughly 93,750 hour grind, or about 10 years. And even though I'm sure all of you would love to see me killing imps for that long, it would significantly increase the amount of time between episode releases. So that is not something I'm going to be doing. Instead, this imp grind will be backlogged, and I'm going to just go ahead and roll the next chunk since that was the only grind here. Alright, so let's see what we get. Very nice. Very, very nice. So with the Hunters Guild unlocked, that does mean I now have access to my very first bank, which is awesome because my inventory is completely full, and it's going to be really, really nice to see what all I've put in there with Leo. So let's go ahead and unlock the chunk and head on down there and see what we've got. Now, immediately upon entering, I did notice there are a lot of awesome shops here that in the future will be extremely useful for me. However, currently, I don't believe I have access to them. You do need 46 Hunter to enter the guild, so I believe the shops work the same way. Yes. Yeah, they do. Oh well, no big deal. Now, in this chunk, there are only 2 tasks which I have to do. First, to get 26 ranged and wield iron bolts, and second, to obtain an iron knife. Luckily, there is an iron knife spot in the Hunters Guild. So finally, we're able to bank all of our stuff. Interesting thing, this NPC here will actually not let you bank unless you are at 46 Hunter. However, the chest right next to him lets you bank without any problems at all. Okay, so now I'm going to world hop for a few hundred of these iron knives and train up on some snakes. I think it should be pretty fast to get to 26 ranged. Yep, that took no time at all. 26 range achieved, so let's go ahead and grab ourselves some iron bolts now. Alright, there's the iron bolts. And with those, we do have the final chunk task completed, so we are going to be able to go ahead and roll our next chunk. Let's see what we're going to get. Oh, okay, Torum Path. Now, there is a mine here on Torum Path, but it's not really accessible for me right now since I don't have access to any kind of pickaxe. The lowest tier pickaxe I have right now would be a steel pickaxe from bandits, but I can't actually use that one. So this will be a free chunk since I did already get the blue wizard hat from imps during the range ride. Now, I'll still come check this place out just to see what is actually here since it is a new chunk that's unlocked. You can see it's pretty barren. There's not really anything going on here. There's some wolves. There's an iron scimitar spawn, which would have been awesome earlier on, but, you know, sometimes that's just how it goes. And there's these bards here who I don't think actually do anything, as far as I know. Yeah, they're just some dialogue. So, yeah, that's this entire chunk. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the next one. All right, let's see what's next. Oh, Sunset Fishing Cove. So here we do have access to a fishing shop which sells raw fish, as well as some fishing spots that we can't actually fish from yet. The lowest tier fishing spot here is Big Net Fishing, which requires 16 fishing, and I currently have 15. So that means the only task here is going to be to cook a swordfish, since it's the highest tier fish inside the shop. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out the shop. Now we've got all kinds of fishing supplies. We even have some feathers if we ever need them for our fletching grind, and some raw fish. So this shop is pretty awesome. As you can see right now, we don't actually have the level to use any of the fishing spots here. Currently we're at 15. If Bob the cat shows up, that could change. But for the time being, we are only going to be cooking. Okay, so let's get to it. Now, I know that technically this is another world-hopping grind, but honestly, I love cooking. It's always been one of my favorite skills in the game, and it's just really relaxing for me to do, and something that I genuinely enjoy. There we go, 45 cooking. That was a super chill grind. We got that done pretty quick, just took a few hours. We can now cook those swordfish, so let's go ahead and buy some from the shop and get them cooked. There we go, chunk task complete. Okay, so let's drop these bad boys on the ground, and then we'll leave the nice one on the table for this nice lady here. Okay, so that is the chunk task completed, so we can go ahead and roll our next chunk. Okay, let's see what we get. Ooh, Avium Savannah North. Now this is a chunk that I've been really looking forward to. It's got regular citizens, farmers, master farmers, all that I can thieve from, as well as a patch of sweet corn right next to a range that I can use for a lot of cooking experience. Now there are two chunk tasks here. First is to get 40 thieving and pickpocket a guard, and then the second will be to dig up an uncut emerald for Rue Merald. He's an NPC who stands by the bandits next to Camp Torum. Okay, so here we are in the Avium Savannah now. We are going to just go ahead and start right away with our pickpocketing grind. This is something that's going to be extremely useful for us in the future. Civitas Elafortis is a dream for thieving, so if we get lucky on our next chunk rolls, this is going to really pay off. There we go, 10 thieving, so now we can pickpocket farmers. Now, I think the fail rate from the farmers is going to be a little bit too high at level 10, so I think I'll just go back to the regular citizens. Luckily, I've got this spawn here for the sweet corn. Sweet corn is a really awesome way to train up cooking, and it's also a pretty decent way to just heal up while I'm doing this thieving grind. It is some way that I'm going to be able to get a lot of experience. Now, because of the sweet corn spawn being here, as well as the mill right behind me, that does mean I will be unbacklogging the pita bread, because there is a spawn for grain on top of the Hunter's Guild, so I have everything I need. So I will be also getting 58 cooking for that grind. Alright, that's 20 thieving. I think this is probably a pretty good place to go ahead and switch back over to the farmers now. I think the fail rate will be pretty manageable at this point. There we go, 30 thieving. Very nice. Okay, and with every thieving level at this point, it does get easier and easier. And there we go, there's 38 thieving. That does, of course, now give us the level to pickpocket for master farmers. So even though at this level I do have a pretty high fail rate for pickpocketing the master farmers, I did decide to go ahead and train the last two levels on them rather than on the regular farmers. Just because it's fewer pickpockets, and also because I did want to get some seeds just in case my next chunk roll is going to be Ortis Farm. And that's 40 thieving achieved, so that does now mean that our chunk task is a possibility. We can now pickpocket from the guards. But first, let's go ahead and make some pita bread, get the final cooking levels for that. Alright, 58 cooking. That does mean that finally we can go ahead and make some pita bread. Okay, so we've got all of our pita bread dough, so let's go ahead and bake it and hopefully not burn any of it. First one, let's go. Okay, so that is the chunk task complete, so let's go ahead and grab the spade behind us and dig up the emerald for Rue. There's the emerald, and we're going to go ahead and take that to its rightful owner. Oh, he's going to be so happy to see this thing. Just the look on his face is worth it enough for me. Not even the chunk task, just to see that beautiful smile that Rue's got. Look at that. Look how happy he is. And then let's go ahead and reach into this guy's pants to grab his pouch. Wow. Wonderful. And with that, that is all the chunk tasks done. We gave Rue his emerald back, we cooked the pita bread, and we, of course, pickpocketed the guard. So let's see what our next chunk is going to be. Here we go. Finally in the city. This is a great chunk. This is where all the homes of the wealthy citizens are for the burglary activity within Baramore. There's also a new bank for me, as well as a clothing shop, which is going to sell me a few new best in slot upgrades. So yeah, all around, I am extremely happy to be going into this chunk. Now in this chunk, there are only a few tasks. I have to obtain a blue cape, leather boots, and leather gloves, all from the clothing shop. And I also have to upgrade my gravestone in Death's office to an angel gravestone. Now that's something like 100k, it shouldn't take very long at all to do that. I will just pickpocket some guards, and hopefully that will get me closer to the 50 thieving goal, which I will eventually need to pickpocket from wealthy citizens, so that I can enter the homes of this chunk and burglarize them. Okay, so let's go ahead and step in there. Now right off the bat, I see one of the best things I've seen yet, and that is of course this dog. I'm gonna go ahead and pet this dog. If you see a dog in RuneScape, pet it. That's the rule. This brings me great joy. Okay, here we go. We're entering the city for the first time. Now, there's a lot of great things here. We've got these houses that we can rob from if we ever get access to the wealthy citizens. We've got another bank. Just a great place to be. Now, this guy right here, Molasses, he's the best boy in all of RuneScape, and if you see him, make sure to give him lots of love, and I'll show you why a little bit later. But for the time being, let's work on these chunk tasks. So here we are at the clothing shop. We're going to go ahead and grab ourselves some leather gloves and some leather boots. Alright, let's put those on. And let's grab some gold so we can also grab the cape as well. There we go, the blue cape. Best in slot. And would you just look at that? I mean, in my humble opinion, that's more impressive than an Inferno cape. So I wanted to check out Death's office to change my gravestone, and I made a rather startling discovery. His office does not actually appear to be inside my chunk. Now, I can technically access it, but in order to actually click on it, it would require me to click on a square, which is not part of my chunk. I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't think that counts as being within my chunk. I think this is actually not accessible unless both this chunk and the chunk adjacent to it are unlocked. So for the time being, I will backlog it until that is possible. So that means that all the tasks are going to be completed because I am backlogging the gravestone, and I can roll my next chunk. Alright, let's see what we get. Huge. Absolutely huge. Couldn't be better. Now this is the chunk that I've been waiting for since the beginning of this series. It unlocks so many grinds, and it's the beginning of the first real grind of the series. This does mean that I now have a lot more chunk tasks. Some of the bigger, more notable ones are going to be the 87 fletching, the 75 woodcutting, the 75 thieving. There will also be several best in slot upgrades, and I will now also have the ability to buy a player-owned house, although not access it. So let's go ahead and get down there. Now, I do also have access to an amazing general store. There's a lot of cool things here. And of course, here I am now at the bazaar. I'm going to be doing probably a lot of thieving here. In fact, these silk and fur stalls here will probably be my new home until I reach 50 thieving, since that is the level I'm going to need to pickpocket from the wealthy citizens here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and buy myself a player-owned home, since that is one of the chunk tasks. I don't have actually any way to access this home yet, so currently it's not going to add any kind of construction grind, but it is going to be useful for me in the future. So this right here is why Molasses is the best dog in all of RuneScape. This entire time that I've been thieving from the stall, he has been standing next to me, keeping this guard off of me, and keeping me at peace while I get this 50 thieving unlocked. So now I can finally start pickpocketing from these wealthy citizens. Now for the best RNG, you're going to want to give Molasses as much love as possible. Every second that you're waiting, you're going to want to spam click this pet option because he does deserve it and you will get better luck. Look at that, 60 thieving already. I mean, this XP here is just nuts and it's basically completely AFK. So since I have a pretty daunting 87 fletching task in this chunk, I decided to move a little bit more east to this spot because there are some regular trees here next to some wealthy citizens that are being distracted. So I can make arrow shafts while I wait for the distraction. And of course, I can get feathers from them from the fishing store I was using earlier. And that's 70 thieving. This honestly took me no time at all to get to this point. I mean, this thieving method is absolutely busted. At this point, I decided to try robbing the houses to see if I could get any of the amulet upgrades, and I did get lucky. On the very first house, I did get the diamond amulet, which is going to be my very best in slot. That is, of course, a power ammy now unlocked. Fortunately, I have plenty of cosmic runes from my moss giant grind, so the power amulet is immediately enchantable. There we go. And that's my new best amulet, actually probably for a very long time. Look at that, Ron Ralos now decked out in diamond. Okay, so I got extremely lucky. Only about 4 houses later, I did end up getting all the amulets that I'm going to need, so I'm going to go ahead and enchant them real quick. That does mean that I now have all my best in slot amulets and those chunk tasks are complete, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the rest of my best in slot upgrades here. So upstairs in the Citus pub, there is a spawn for both a black robe and an oak shortbow. I did also manage to get a diamond ring, which I turned into a ring of life, just in case, just to keep my hardcore status a little bit more safe. So we can go ahead and check off a few more of these chunk tasks. And of course, we gotta give plenty of love to Molasses. I mean, this guy absolutely deserves it. And then we're going to go ahead and get that 75 thieving just knocked right out of there. So this does mean that we can finally start stealing from the gem stalls. And that's another chunk task complete. 75 thieving done, gem stalls stolen from. And with that, we do come to the end of the episode. I was really happy to get such a nice variety of grinds on this one. You know, it was a really nice change of pace from standing in the same place for a whole month, killing the same moss giants. And we got a whole lot of experience and a lot of gains here. We now have access to 2 different banks. We have several places to get food from. We have every amulet up till power. We reached 75 thieving. We reached 58 cooking. And we now finally have access to the center of Citus. So all in all, this was a great grind, but there's a lot more to come. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Underneath the twilight's glow, so alone, stepped into Citus, full of force, the city of blessed bones, filled with the spirit of Ralos and the scent of gold, where dreams get traded and your secrets show. I'm a vagabond cat in the city of lights, where wealthy citizens snooze, but not tonight. With my dexterous digits and a heart so chilled, I snag what I need to keep my belly filled. At first I play it cool, just another mug, learning the back streets with a big wig shrug. Soon I find a gig, a hustle so neat, where the swells are the marks and I'm so discreet. I'm a vagabond vagabond cat in the city of dreams, where coin purse flow like streams of moonlit beams. With young bloods as my crew, we run our game, distract and snatch, name of the thief's game. I'm a vagabond cat in the city of dreams, where coin purses flow like streams and moonlit beams. With young bloods as my crew, we run our game, distract and snatch, name of the thief's game. Keys jangle quiet in their silk cravats, a portal to treasure and hi-hat flats. Into their paths when they're far from sight, I slide like a shadow unseen in the night. Each room speaks tales of fortune and flash, witness silent to the sneak thief's dash. I snag what I can, no guilt in my head. In this town of grift, survival's my bread. I'm a vagabond cat, a master of the trick, where trust is for squares and truth just a kick. With each stolen caper I carve my own fate, in Citus Illifortis, where shadows wait. So here I ramble, guided by Ralos' light, a vagabond's journey, keeping out of sight. In the belly of the city, where the big shots fall, I'm the ghost that glides on Ralos' call.